Okay, so good morning. Today I'll be presenting about the human skeletal system. My name is JAYANATHAN. Okay, so let's just go over the contents for today. The contents for today is introduction, types of bones, the anatomy of bones, physiology of bones, and the type of bone cells, and bone formation and repair, bone-related diseases. That's all. So first, introduction of human skeletal system. The human skeletal system consists of bones, which is the framework of the body, and then the joints, which is where two or more bones meet. After that is cartilage. Cartilage essentially absorbs the impact in joints and reduce friction between bones. And ligaments, they connect the bones. Okay, so there are many types of bones, and let's just look at them. First, we have long bones. The example of long bones is the femur. Short bones, the example of short bones is the cuneiforms, in our feet. And then flat bones are sternum and stuff like that. After that, irregular bones. Irregular bones are basically our facial bones, like the mandible. And then sesamoid bones. Sesamoid bones is patella that we have in our knee. And then pneumatic bones. Pneumatic bones, uh, they have air-filled spaces in between them, which is the maxilla, for example. Okay, so slide. So let's just go over the anatomy of the bone. The anatomy of the bone, firstly, is the periosteum. So periosteum is basically the outer sheet of bone that supplies blood, nerves, and cells to help the bone grow and heal. Next is the endosteum. The endosteum is the spongy layer inside of the bone. As you can see in this picture, it's the yellow thing in the middle. That's the medullary cavity. And then right over there is the endosteum. Okay, so endosteum is a membrane that lines the center of your bones that contain bone marrow. It plays a role in the position of calcium in the matrix and also blood cell production. Okay, after that is epiphysis, metaphysis, and diaphysis. Epiphysis is basically the point where secondary ossification occurs, and metaphysis is a part of the long bone that grows during development. Diaphysis is the central shaft of any long bone. As you can see in the image, diaphysis is the central shaft of the bone. It's the longest part of the long bone. Next, physiology of bones. So in the physiology of bones, firstly we have support and structure. Bones, they form a rigid framework of the body, providing shape and support to the tissues and organ. They maintain posture and act as a base for soft tissue attachment. Next, we have movement. Bones work with muscles, tendons, and joints to facilitate movement like running, swimming, walking. They act as a lever, allowing muscles to generate motion when they contract. Next, we have shape. Our facial features are partly determined by the shape of our facial bones, like how our jawline is formed, and our height is also linked to our skeletal framework as well. So next, we have protection. So bones, they protect our vital organs. For example, the skull, it protects the brain, and the rib cage, it shields the heart and lungs. Uh, Another example is the vertebrae, it safeguards the spinal cord. Next, we have blood cell production, also known as hematopoiesis, in the bone marrow, especially in the spongy bone of the flat and long bones. Red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets are normally produced from the bone marrow. After that, we have lastly shock absorbers. Shock absorbers articular cartilage that act as a shock absorber, cushioning bones against impacting each other during weight-bearing activities such as walking or jogging. So next we have bone cells. Sorry, bone cells. So there are a few types of bone cells. First is the osteoprogenitor bone cell. Its function is to develop into osteoblasts, and it is located in the deep layers of the periosteum and the marrow. The osteoblast, its function is in bone formation, assisting in that. It grows portions of bone, including the periosteum and the endosteum. Next is osteocytes. Osteocytes basically maintain mineral concentration of the matrix, and they are entrapped in the matrix of the bone. Lastly, we have osteoclasts. Osteoclasts help in bone resorption. So bone surfaces, it's located at the bone surfaces and at sites of old, injured, or unneeded bones. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so next we have bone formation. So let's take a look at bone formation. So firstly, the mesenchymal cells differentiate into chondrocytes, the cartilage model of the future bony skeleton, and the perichondrium form. Capillaries then penetrate the cartilage. Perichondrium transforms into a periosteum, as you can see in the picture. Periosteal collar develops. Primary ossification center as well develops. After that, cartilage and chondrocytes continue to grow at ends of the bone, and secondary ossification centers develop. Usually, this one happens after birth, and cartilage remains at epiphyseal growth plate and at joint surface as articular cartilage. This is one part of the bone formation. Another part is some mesenchyme cells. They actually differentiate and mature directly into osteoblasts, which produces the osteoid matrix, which quickly calcifies. Most flat bones of the skull, mandible, and maxilla and clavicle are formed this way. Okay, so next, next is bone repair. As you can see in the picture, there are few parts of bone repair. Okay, so first, when the blood vessels are torn within the fracture, they release blood which clots to produce a large fracture hematoma. As you can see in the first picture, that is a large hematoma that is being formed. This is gradually removed by macrophages and replaced by a soft fibrocartilage-like mass of procallus tissue rich in collagen and fibroblasts. And then in the third picture, you can see in the next few weeks, the fibrocartilage is gradually replaced by tuberculae of primary bone, forming a hard callus throughout the original area of fracture. The primary bone is then remodeled as compact and cancellous bone in continuity with the adjacent uninjured areas. Okay, so next, let's take a look at bone-related diseases. One of the more famous bone-related diseases is osteoporosis. As you can see in the picture, normal bone, they don't have as much pores, but osteoporosis, the bones are very porous. So osteoporosis is basically a medical condition characterized by weakened bones, making them fragile and more prone to fractures. So let's look at the causes of why this thing happens. So basically, first cause is aging. As people age, bones naturally they lose the density and strength because the body produces less bone than it breaks down. This makes bones more fragile and prone to fracture. Next is hormonal changes. This is in women. In women, a drop in estrogen levels after menopause speeds up bone loss. However, in men, lower testosterone levels also can weaken the bones. This is also associated with aging for men. Next is the treatment. Let's look at how we can treat osteoporosis. We have to consume calcium and vitamin D rich foods such as dairy and leafy greens, and getting enough vitamin D from sunlight or supplements helps strengthen our bones. Next is exercise. Regular weight bearing exercises like walking or lifting weights improve our bone density and reduce the risk of fractures. That is all for osteoporosis. So, next is scoliosis. Scoliosis is also a very famous bone related disease. So, scoliosis is a condition where the spine curves sideways, often in an S or C shape. It can occur at any age, but it is most common during growth spurts in adolescence. So let's look at the few causes that causes uh, scoliosis. So the first cause is idiopathic. So most cases have no known cause because it may involve genetic factors. And next we have congenital. So spine abnormalities may be present at birth. So they develop into scoliosis as a early age or later on age when they hit a growth spurt in puberty after puberty. Third is neuromuscular cause. This is caused by conditions like cerebral palsy or muscular dystrophy. Fourth is injuries or infections. So damage to the spine can lead to scoliosis. Next, let's look at the treatments for scoliosis. First is observation. So mild cases may just need regular checkups. And number two, the bracing. A back brace can stop the curve from worsening in growing children. This is normally used for people with scoliosis. And third is for severe cases, they might require surgery and spinal fusion surgery to correct the curve. And lastly, we have physical therapy to strengthen and stretch to improve our posture and reduce discomfort. Okay, that is all from me. Thank you.